Hey guys, it's Colton Lindbergh here with eXp Realty. Today we'll be doing a market update for the city of Long Beach, Gardena, and Carson. We'll be looking at average sales price, we'll be looking at days on market, we'll be looking at months of supply, and percentage of original list price. This will all help us kind of understand the current market conditions as well as making future predictions for the months to come. So this first data point we're looking at is going to be the average sales price for a residential single family home in these three cities. As we can see, Long Beach is at 1.1. That's 17% up from last month. Now, as we all know, Long Beach is very, very different in terms of its areas. So there's average price point for all those areas. If you guys are looking in a specific area in Long Beach, please let me know and I can make a dedicated video to that area. But overall, when we average it out, we're looking right about 1.1. Now in Gardena, the average sales price is $811,000, and in Carson, we're looking at $800,000 as well. Gardena is up 6.4%, and Carson is up 0.5%. So Gardena and Carson compared to Long Beach, you can see that graph there is a lot more stable. There's a gentle rise going on, but it's staying, right at around the high sevens to low eights for both areas. So very, very stable market just over the years here in Gardena and in Carson. So now we are going to look at the days on market. Days on market is just, hey, how long are these homes staying around the market before they're sold? And what's the average of those days? So in Long Beach, we're looking at 29 days. In Gardena, we're looking at 35 days. In Carson, we're looking at 39 days. Now, those numbers are all just about up except for Long Beach, which has stayed the same, but those are all up. So what is that telling me as a realtor? That means that, hey, these homes are sticking around a lot longer than we've seen in previous years. I reckon back to COVID when homes are staying on the market for a maximum of like 14 days. But what this is telling me is that there are homes out there that are priced correctly. There are homes out there that are overpriced. There are homes out there that are underpriced. And that is what we're seeing kind of going throughout the market wherever you're looking, right? So if you find a home that's priced correctly, on average, it should be staying around 29 days, 25 days, or 39 days, depending on what these areas you're looking in. Now, with days on market creeping up, that means there's going to be slightly more supply than we've seen in the past. Now, does that supply compete with the amount of demand? Well, we'll see that in our next slide here about the months of supply. So we are now here at months of supply, and what months of supply basically means is if no new homes were to come on the market, how long would it take for all the homes that are currently on the market to be gone? And we measure that in months. So in Long Beach, we're about 2.5 months. Gardena, we're 2.5 months. And in Carson, we're 1.8 months. So in a balanced market, when everything is absolutely balanced, we want to see anywhere between 3.5 to maybe 6 months of supply. That's going to mean we've reached an equilibrium point where supply and demand have kind of met each other. So what this is telling me with these numbers being under that 3.5 month mark is that we're still in a seller's market. There still is not a whole lot of supply of homes compared to the amount of demand for these homes. So that's where we'll see, the average sales price starting to creep up. That's why we're seeing the days on market still relatively low. And I bet you the next slide here is going to tell us that the percentage of original list price is going to be dang near 90 to 100%. But we'll go take a look at that right now. And what the percentage of original list price is, wow, I nailed that. I haven't looked at this before I recorded, but I just know from market conditions and what that trends to do. But the percentage of original list price is really just how much at the end of the day am I going to be paying for this home, or how much at the end of the day am I going to be selling this home for. So on average, we're looking at 99.7% in Long Beach. Gardena, we're looking at 100%. Carson, we're looking at 100%. Both of those slightly over. So what this is telling me as a realtor is that while there is homes in all these areas that have been on the market for a pretty good amount of time and are probably taking, price cuts in order to get those homes sold, there's also homes that come on the market that are really desirable and are going over asking price, which is averaging out right to about 100%. And this is just really an indication of a healthy market so far. We'll see what's coming up in the next months, but as I'm predicting, I don't think it's going to be a huge hit. We'll see with the economy and what the Fed decides to do with interest rates. But if things are trending as they've been trending for the last month, interest rates will probably come down to try to keep money cheap and try to keep buyers in the market. And we'll see how that happens and how that affects the real estate market. But as in any times, it's a little uncertain. But just from historically speaking, we are going to be seeing this stay pretty dang close to the same for next month. All right, guys. Well, I've been Colton Lindbergh with eXp Realty. Again, if you have any questions or you want me to do a specific area, please feel free to reach out to me. All my information is in the description below. All right, guys. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.